Hi, I'm Miles from Carp School and I'm going to show you how to tie a Combi rig, one of my favourite rigs and usually fish with a critically balanced bait or a snowman presentation. So for this Combi rig, we're going to take a critically balanced bait here. It's a wafter bottom bait. It's had a little bit of pop-up mix put into it so it sinks a little slower, and with the addition of a piece of fake corn, this should sink really, really slowly under the weight of the hook. Now, what I would like to do is make this into a Combi rig. So this supple braid, really, really supple braid, has already been tied up here in a claw style. Clearly you could put a KD rig, you could put a blowback rig, any kind of rig that you like, but making use of some really supple braid. Now to add that onto the really stiff boom section, we're going to take some of this stiff material and we're going to tie an Albright knot, which you can see elsewhere on this site. But to start off with, take a couple of inches and just bend it back on itself there, creating a relatively tight loop like so. Okay. Now, depending on how long a supple section you want, you need to pull this braided section further or not into the folded over piece of stiff material. I'm going to try and make it really quite short, so I'm going to pull it right up to the shrink tube there. Okay. Pinch that with the right hand, and with the left hand, take the supple section and wrap it around both legs of this folded over piece of stiff boom material. So we're going to go around once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then come back over 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've got a pretty small loop there to poke this back through, and make sure that's coming back that way, and pull it on up. All right, now wet the knot, as you should with any knot, and pulling on the section that has your hook, just pull smoothly and gently, making sure all those little rolls that you created are all sitting nice and neatly next to each other, like so. And when you pull on the hook, you obviously don't want to change the angle of the shrink tube too much, but if you need to re-steam it, then you can certainly do that. And so you can see there we've got a nice neat knot, and a very short little supple braided section joining onto the stiff boom. So we now need to just trim that off nice and tight and trim off the stiff boom section. Now, if you trim this off square, it can create a little bit of a sharp angle. So remember that the hook's going to be in the fish's mouth, and this is sort of around the outside of the mouth on the cheek area of the fish. And the last thing you want is a sharp tag end poking out from here. So I'd always try to cut that at a bit of an angle, like so. And that means that there's not much chance of that scraping on the side of the fish's face and causing any damage or any more than necessary. So a lot of guys like to put some putty there. I have to say I don't, so I leave that bare, but you can mask it a little bit, but putty can come off. So I think really to be safe, make sure you cut that off at an angle. The next job is to straighten out the boom section. You can tie the other end of the hook link here with onto a ring swivel, or you can tie a figure-of-8 loop onto a swivel. The choice is yours. But you can see here we've got a fantastic rig with a stiff boom section tied onto a really, really supple section down by the hook, which will allow the hook freedom of movement to catch hold in the fish's mouth. And when settling down on the bottom, because the bait is critically balanced, is going to slowly sink down to the lake bed like so. The hook will lie on the bottom, flat like that, with your hook bait sat above it. a fantastic rig, one of my favourites, and not too difficult to tie. That is a fantastic combi rig.